One moment, Chennedy Carter was a rising star in the WNBA with incredible talent, and the next, she became the center of one of the biggest controversies in the league's recent history. She had everything a player could dream of: speed, scoring ability, defensive toughness, and a bright future ahead. But in just a few seconds of reckless behavior, she may have put her entire career at risk. Her decision to shove Caitlin Clark wasn't just a simple mistake in the heat of the game. It became a defining moment that turned the basketball world against her. Fans, analysts, and even the league itself reacted swiftly, making it clear that this was more than just an ordinary in-game scuffle. Now, as the dust settles, the biggest question remains: is this the end of her WNBA career, or is there still a path for her redemption? In professional basketball, respect plays a crucial role. Respect for teammates, opponents, and the sport itself. When Carter forcefully shoved Clark in what many believed was an intentional act of aggression, she didn't just break the rules of the game, she shattered her own credibility as a professional athlete. The situation worsened when she refused to take responsibility for her actions. Instead of apologizing or showing any remorse, she doubled down, making it clear that she had no intention of backing down. The WNBA took notice. Social media erupted with outrage, and suddenly, Carter found herself in the middle of a storm that she couldn't control. Teams that once saw potential in her began hesitating, unsure if she was worth the risk. She isn't just facing a temporary suspension or backlash. She is now dealing with the very real possibility of being blacklisted from the WNBA entirely. This single moment changed everything for Carter. When she made the decision to shove Clark, many fans were stunned, but others, especially those who had followed Carter's past, weren't entirely surprised. The push wasn't just a foul. It became a career-defining incident that could cost her everything. Now, she finds herself without a job, dealing with the consequences of her actions, and facing an uncertain future in the WNBA. While some argue that this was just an isolated incident and shouldn't define her career, the reality is that the consequences have been far greater than expected. What may have seemed like a moment of frustration in the heat of the game has now led to a professional crisis, leaving her career hanging by a thread. Her former team, the Chicago Sky, wasted no time distancing themselves from her. They didn't defend her, didn't try to justify her actions, and didn't attempt to negotiate her return. They simply cut ties with her immediately. There was no attempt to offer her a second chance or give her a core designation. The decision to release her was swift and final, sending a strong message about how the team viewed her actions. In a matter of days, she went from being a promising young star to an unwanted free agent struggling to find a new team. The fall from grace was swift and unforgiving, and now, with no teams willing to take a risk on her, she faces the harsh reality of possibly never returning to the WNBA. One of the biggest mistakes Carter made was choosing the wrong person to target. Caitlin Clark isn't just another player in the league. She is the face of the WNBA, a fan favorite, and a key reason why the league's popularity has been soaring. Clark has brought in record-breaking crowds, increased TV viewership, and helped generate more revenue for women's basketball. The league sees her as a valuable asset, and any player who tries to undermine her success is bound to face serious consequences. Carter's shove wasn't just viewed as an overly aggressive play, it was seen as a direct attack on one of the WNBA's biggest stars. With so much riding on Clark's success, it's no surprise that teams are now distancing themselves from Carter, unwilling to take a chance on a player who has put herself at odds with the league's most valuable player. The aftermath of Carter's actions became even more clear when Chicago Sky head coach Tyler Marsh addressed the media about the team's future. While he discussed several key players, including Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso, one name was noticeably absent: Chennedy Carter. The fact that her name wasn't even mentioned sent a strong message that she was no longer in the team's plans. In professional sports, when a coach avoids talking about a player, it's often an indication that the relationship is over. Carter's omission from the conversation only fueled speculation that her time in the WNBA had officially come to an end. Even Carter's closest allies seemed to be moving on without her. Angel Reese, who was initially seen as one of Carter's strongest supporters, unfollowed her on social media. While that may seem insignificant to some, in today's world, an unfollow can be a powerful statement. It signals a public falling out and confirms that the two players are no longer on good terms. This move only added to the speculation that Carter had lost the support of her teammates, making it even harder for her to rebuild her reputation. Reports also surfaced that several members of the Chicago Sky organization wanted Carter gone, making it clear that her presence had become more of a burden than an asset. When teammates themselves push for a player's departure, it becomes nearly impossible for them to maintain their spot on the roster. The WNBA is currently in a transformational period, largely thanks to Caitlin Clark's impact on the game. She has brought in unprecedented levels of attention, boosting merchandise sales, ticket sales, and overall viewership. The league is working hard to expand its audience, attract new sponsors, and create a more marketable product. In this environment, there is little room for players who bring negative attention to the league. Carter's shove couldn't have come at a worse time. While the league is trying to build a positive and financially stable future, she brought unnecessary controversy that painted the WNBA in a bad light. As a result, her chances of returning to the league have grown slimmer by the day. Right now, Carter's career is hanging by a thread. While her talent on the court is undeniable, professional sports require more than just skill. Reputation, attitude, and professionalism are just as important. Teams are now reluctant to sign her, fearing the backlash and drama that might come with it. According to reports, multiple WNBA executives have privately stated that they wouldn't sign Carter under any circumstances, further proving just how serious this situation has become. If Carter hopes to continue playing basketball, she may have to explore opportunities outside of the WNBA. Many talented players who have struggled to find a place in the league have managed to revive their careers by playing in international leagues in Europe, China, or Australia. However, even overseas teams consider a player's reputation before making an offer, meaning she would still need to repair her image before securing a spot on another team. If she is serious about continuing her basketball journey, she will need to prove that she has changed, demonstrate a new level of professionalism, and work hard to regain trust within the basketball community.